Well, hello there. How are you? I hope you're keeping well. I am in the studio in this glorious blue sunshiny day, and I have been looking at a few paintings that really need some reworking. Some that I have been struggling with for some time, and some that have just been languishing against the wall in the studio. So that's what I'm going to do today. I have two various sizes. This one is one that I've been continually working on. But I'm having problems with one area up here, which is overly textured, I would say, because of some collage that's underneath it. So that's a 50 by 60. And then this one is an older work. And it's just been kind of sitting in the studio, and I feel like it needs something else. Now, these ones, I would have used a lot of my own collage and drawings, and then some of my children, which I feel very sentimental about, actually, because they're a bit more grown up now. And this would have been from my son when he was, I want to say like 8 or 9, and he just turned 15 the other day. So I'm like, oh, but I won't paint over those. They're too precious for me to paint over. But what I will do is make it a little bit more cohesive, and I'm really going for a very similar style for this. I'm just looking around to see if I can find the other one, but a very similar kind of style and aesthetic that I want to do for that. So I'll be painting over probably quite a bit of this black area and the green. I do love this, but I'm going to make them less like round in shape, and then I'll leave as much of that area there as I can. The one that has the kind of dapple colors and the collage. Okay, I'll be honest. I don't know if this microphone is working. Listen, I'm a learner. That's it, really. This is my lovely fancy microphone that I got a while back, and the sound quality is brilliant. But I don't know if it's attached. So look, I'm just gonna crack on, as they say, and just please God, it'll all be fine, and you can hear me. Anyway, right. I tend to use a lot of the same brushes over and over again, just because I love them and they make my heart happy. But these are a fraction of the ones that I have at the moment. I'm very much enjoying these kind of hake brushes and the more blunter ones as well. And those ones as well. Anyway, and I use all sorts of things for generally water. I just put them in, like, that's an old yogurt pot, and like the old the kids cups from years ago. So and like I'll use milk cartons and all sorts of things just to mix paints as well. But I recently got these trays because I had been using paper plates, and I just felt they were so wasteful. So I'm using those, and they're working out brilliantly, and I can use them as a wet palette as well. So I can either cover them with a bit of parchment paper, put the paint down, and then cover them with cling film or more parchment, and it kind of retains the paint for longer. But sometimes I'm just a lazy ass and I don't do that. So I have great intentions, but it doesn't always pan out that way. Right, I just need to gather my thoughts and figure out the next steps. I'll be honest, when I go to paint over a new work, or an old work, should I say, I'm always a little bit anxious about how it's going to turn out. And there's always that feeling of, am I actually just going to wreck it, ruin it? But it's just been sitting around, and I haven't been promoting it, so I know that it's not even up on my website. So I know I'm deep down not 100% happy with it. Otherwise I would have it up there and I'd be showcasing it and telling people about it. And I'm not, so that makes me think and know that I'm not 100% happy with it. So let me give you a bit of a close-up here and see if I can do this. Okay, so this is a canvas that I stretched myself, and I quite love stretching canvases myself if I want to leave some of the canvas raw. If I don't want to leave it raw, it actually doesn't make any difference. I may as well just buy a shop bought one, and they're perfectly adequate, and a lot of my works I do on those. But for the ones that I want to leave that element of the raw canvas in spaces and places, then I do stretch my own. And believe you me when I say it's a workout, it is a bloody workout when you're stretching it, particularly large ones, you know. You have to have very strong hands, even with the grips and the, you know, the various tools that you can use. So I really love this bit, but I won't keep the whole amount. I quite like this. I love the delicacy of some of the lines and the paint splatters and the pencil marks coming through. Love this color, but that's too much of a big area. And then this is the place where I've done a lot of collage, and you can see that's my son's helicopter, and I think that was Big Ben. We used to live in London, so that was Big Ben there. And the satellites, the houses. Yeah, so a bit of neon there. I'll probably keep that. I'll keep as much as that as I can, but I also don't want it to be just this big focal point, just like that. So, yeah, I'll see. We have a little doggy bringing me a bone. Hey, Ivy. Hey, Ivy girl. Hi. Somebody wants a little bit of attention. Okay. So this is it. And I'm just going to dive right in. Hello. She is our little cutie, isn't that right? Yes. And I think what I'm going to do with this, first and foremost, is because there's already quite a lot of dark areas on it, I'm going to start with the lighter areas first and just, you know, see how I get on with that. And I hope you can see that. One of these days I'll set myself up and do the overhead camera, but I actually find when the camera's pointing down, there's too much around me that I can't really focus. So I find it a little bit off-putting, so I hope this is okay. Let me see which paint brushes. This one I love because it's kind of a smaller one, but it does lovely washes. As you can tell, that's a particular favorite as well. Right, let's start. I've been thinking about this for quite a few days and just going, right, I need to just start it rather than feeling like I don't know where to start, because if you don't know where to start and you don't start, then you never will, you know. So I just need to just sometimes push into those things. I'm just mixing up something that I like because it's going to lay the foundation for what comes after. So I can imagine there'll be quite a lot of layers to this, which is the way that I've been working quite a lot recently. It's not always the way that I work. Hold on, a little bit of coffee needed. It's not always the way I work, but currently this is the way that I like. And it's just flowing for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cover up some of that raw canvas that's peeping out. Because in the way that I want to work with this one, it won't serve me to keep it. My little doggies haven't been out for a walk yet, so they're not too happy. That's why little Ivy is coming over to me asking to play. But also the kids have just gone to school, and sometimes I just need to, you know, really crack on and just get on with it then, you know. And that's the time that I have, because suddenly it's the weekend and all of that, and it's my birthday tomorrow. So we'll probably be doing something nice with the family. And I know that I won't this week get much done. So I'm very much like, right, let's just get this done and start on it. So I'm not feeling scared of it. Do you ever get scared of a painting, feeling like you don't know what to do? Right, I'm going to do something else. Oh, it's okay. I'm fine. Just kick the bone. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of masking tape. And sometimes I do this if I want to make sure that I don't like accidentally paint over a certain area that I like the look of, because then that would make me very sad, because I go, oh my goodness, that was one of my favorite pieces. And sometimes when you're in the flow and the paintbrush is just going, like it's easy just to forget those areas. And so I like that bit because it's got a little bit of neon. It's also got a nice little kink in one of the drawing parts. And well, obviously I'm going to do this. Oh, Ivy's out there protecting the house. We have one quieter dog and one noisy dog. A bit like families, isn't it really, you know? And I like some of these lines and marks underneath, or just some of the paintbrushes or paint strokes. So I'm trying to multitask here, thinking of where I'm putting everything and make sense as I talk at the same time. It's making sense in my brain, so I hope it's making sense as I'm saying it out loud. Okay. And these might all change. I might end up taking these off and go, nah, I didn't want to keep that. It wasn't worth keeping. Yes, Ivy, thank you for protecting us. Yeah. And there's a nice bit of neon here with some lines in it. That, and just for good measure, I might just put that there a bit roughly. Right. Ivy's just barking at people walking past, so the window out there faces the road. She's just making sure we're protected and safe. Okay, that's the end of that. So, right, that's my sign. Note to self, just ease off on the tape, Paula. I sometimes look to some old pictures that I've done and use them kind of as a reference to where to start. It never ends up looking anything like it, which I don't want to copy. And to be honest with you, I can't recreate a painting. I don't know if you're the same, but if I try and do something and try and recreate and make it look the same, it just doesn't turn out that way. Let's see what transpires, I guess, you know. I'll section some of those out where I know that actually that would be a nice bit to keep there. I can't keep all of it because it'll be too blatantly obvious to my eyes that I've just kind of sectioned it off, and then it won't be exciting in the same way, if that makes sense. I don't know. Like, there's some areas there that I really like, but it's just like it's too much to keep. I have to make something new, so it has to be some newer textures coming in rather than just the same old stuff that's been there before. And if I have regrets about this, well, I just need to remind myself that actually it was just sitting in the studio anyway, you know. I tend to work in the same kind of canvas size. I like working in square, I've realized. And also lately, some kind of smaller ones that are portrait. So quite like 50 by 60. I feel restricted when it comes to very small pieces because I just don't feel like I have the bandwidth then to really express myself on the canvas in the way that I want to. So it feels a bit more restricted, but I have done quite a lot of 30 by 30s. So in saying that, they tend to work out quite nice. But 50 by 60 is kind of my go-to at the moment. But the other one, the commission that I'm working on is for a specific place, space, I guess, that the client wanted. And I work a lot with interior designers. So if you can start working with interior designers, they're brilliant to work with because they can really promote your work in a way that, you know, they have the clients that are looking for artworks and to bring something unique to their spaces. And it's just it's a great relationship to have, I guess, you know. So that's something to think about. Okay, I'm going to start with a little of the darker paints now, just because I think that would be nice to start layering and get a feel for where this painting is going. So I use a lot of different greens and blues, and I'm a big fan of just mixing them as I go on the palette. A little bit of Payne's Grey down here as well. Now I've just painted over that bit that I liked there, but hey. Like this will probably change again and again, I think, over time. Who knows? Now, I'm going to leave that for a minute, and what I'm going to do is, hello sweetheart, is I'm going to mix in a bit of pink over this side. I sometimes forget that I need to step back and have a look at it, you know, when I'm working up close like this. And even though I'm just really putting on the initial layers at the moment, it's hard to remove yourself from that sometimes, you know, when you're working up close. That's the thing of working on a table compared to working against a door, you know. What am I talking about? Against a wall. My multitasking. This paint does not want to come out. My multitasking sometimes fails me, let's be honest. Okay. Sometimes it's nice to have just that kind of hard line against things, a hard edge, and sometimes it's just nice to have it a little bit softer. So yeah, I tend to try and have a little bit of a mixture of both, I guess. I mean, as I'm painting, I'm figuring this out as I go along. I don't sit there and think these things. I think it's just a realization as I'm moving through the paint that, oh, that's what I like about that, or, you know, it's it's an exploration of understanding in some ways why you're doing what you're doing. But I normally don't sit around and think about these things too much. I just paint, and then sometimes I don't know why I like what I like, but it is that way, and it feels safe and warm, or I don't know. Okay, I'm feeling like I've done the right thing now. I was initially thinking, what on earth have I done? But now I'm feeling that this was the right way to go. And who knows where it'll end. But so far, this has been good. I'm trying to get a bit more of a hard edge on this one here. So I'm kind of at that stage where I'm feeling like I might just leave it there, let it dry, and then take the masking tape off, see how I get on and what it looks like. I've done a lot of coverage on this one, and I'm really happy with how it's gone so far. As I said, like painting over an old work, even though you're not happy with it, there can be a little bit of friction, I guess, with it. So I'm going to see how that goes. I'm going to let it dry, and then I'll take off, if I'm patient enough, I'll take off the masking tape and see how it goes. And then come back to it. And there probably will be more layers to put down, but for the moment, I think that's it. Some days in the studio it can feel like you're not really getting much progress done, and other times you just feel like actually you're sailing through things. And thankfully this morning it has felt like the latter, so I'm delighted with that. I'm really, really happy with that. And these ones for me are the ones that currently are probably the most popular, and this is the first one of this size that I've done. So any of the other ones that I've finished have all sold, and then I've released prints of them. So I'll see how I get on with this one. And I mean, look, it mightn't be finished this side of Christmas, but I'll see how I get on, and I'll keep you updated. And thank you so much for watching again. I am delighted that you're here, and from my little corner of Dublin and Ireland, I appreciate it so much. And if you haven't subscribed and liked, please do, because it means the world for small little channels like my own. And I just love hearing or reading your comments below. So let me know where you are in the world, and where you're watching from, and what kind of work you do, or if you're an artist and you'd like to hear more from me, various different topics around art. What would you like to hear? Anyway, have a lovely day, creatives, and talk soon.